The Sports Talk Recruiting Report is sponsored by Seawell's Catering.
Man, what a voice. What pipes. You gotta give me some pipes like that. All right, it is time for recruiting, brought to you by Shewells. Back open tomorrow for the daily luncheon buffet. Make your plans to get over and enjoy every day during the week. Tuesday through Friday. My goal is to get to Seawells at least once this week, hopefully for a roast beef. I may be at Clemson on Friday.
Well, it's not a roast beef Friday.
Yeah, it's a what?
It is beef tips and mushroom gravy Friday.
Well, when is roast beef? What day is roast beef? Just pure roast beef?
I got to say, I don't see it here on their menu.
Oh.
So that's a hard week for us.
Taking a week off.
Yeah. Tomorrow's lasagna, southern fried chicken, and carved applewood ham.
That's plenty of good reason to get there. And for the best in the catering business, that's Seawells as well. Their phone number is 803-771-7385, online at SeawellsCateringSC.com. So, South Carolina Clemson had official visitors over the weekend. Let's give you the names once again of players who were in or scheduled to be in for the two programs at USC. Athlete A.J. Brand, they like him as a safety. Offensive center Isaac Sowles. Defensive tackle Caleb Williams. Offensive tackle Jalen Gilchrist. Offensive tackle Cortez Smith. Defensive end Tayshawn Alston. Linebacker Jaden Breaker. Offensive guard Dontrell Glover. Running back Jeffrey Overton. Receiver Winston Watkins. Defensive end Jared Smith. Receiver Malik Clark. And safety Jadon Blair. Williams is already committed, so I really should not have mentioned him. These were uncommitted recruits who were in. For Clemson, offensive tackle David Sanders, defensive end Bryce Davis, defensive tackle Christian Garrett, safety Jordan Young, safety Anquan Fagans, defensive tackles Mal Waldrop, Mario Nash, linebacker Kamar Archie, receiver Samari Reed, receiver Cortez Mills, offensive guard Max Buchanan. Offensive tackle Hardy Watts is still there, came in Sunday. Cornerback Donovan Starr, offensive tackle Rowan Byrne, defensive tackle Walter Mathis, and cornerback Grayson Littleton. He arrived today. Couple of notes on official visitors. Christian Garrett of Bogart, Georgia, at Clemson, and he said the part that stuck out the most to him was how close everybody is at Clemson. They talked about a plan for him where he would play all over on the defensive front. Clemson's been a factor with him and remains so after this official visit weekend. Tigers really strengthened their position with him. He's going to announce on July 20th, and he has visits coming up this month with Georgia, Georgia Tech, and Tennessee the next 3 weekends. Then he'll take time out to make his decision. For South Carolina, safety Jadon Blair, 6'4", 180, out of North Carolina, and he really had a great time on his visit. He really likes Shane Beamer. He likes Torian Gray. He's also made officials to Virginia Tech and Louisville, did so in April. South Carolina has been recruiting him very hard. He loved the environment, the hospitality, and they took him and the other recruits, broke down some film of them, and then compared their film with some of the players they have at their respective positions so they could see kind of where they are and where they could get to. I think that's a pretty smart move on their part, and he really enjoyed seeing that. So the competition here is very tough, but he said South Carolina is very much in the mix. He's got 4 more visits. Notre Dame on the 11th, Michigan on the 14th, Florida State on the 18th, and Penn State on the 21st. He will announce on July 5th. You win that kind of contest, you picked up a good one. Offensive guard Dontrell Glover, Fairburn, Georgia, went to South Carolina over the weekend, and he has set July 1st for his commitment announcement. Georgia, Florida State, Tennessee also high up on his list, and he has an official to Florida State on June 21st. Let's see, what else? USC offered defensive tackle Trayshawn Ruffin, 6'4", 305, Calypso, North Carolina, 2026 athlete Mac Sutter, 6'6", 225, Dunlap, Illinois, 2027 quarterback Champ Smith, 6'1", 180 of Miami. Clemson, several 2026 offers. Safety Zaylus Hicks, Carrollton, Georgia. Offensive tackle Leo Delaney of Charlotte. Athlete Jamarian Gordon of Jackson, Alabama, an Alabama commit. Safety Xavier Larisi of Melbourne, Florida. Offensive tackle Ikini Oboko of Durham. Linebacker Thomas Davis Jr., Matthews, North Carolina, son of the former Panther. Offensive tackle Maxwell Riley of Avon Lake, Ohio. Offensive guard and center Grant Wise of Pace, Florida. Offensive tackle Darius Gray of Richmond. Cornerback Jazavian Currents of South Point. Safety Inari White, Riverdale, Georgia. And linebacker Tyler Atkinson of Lawrenceville, Georgia. Some other notes. Rock Hill wide receiver Malik Clark set an official to Florida State June 14th. He was at USC over the weekend. He has North Carolina this weekend and then NC State on the 21st. Cornerback Onis Konanbani of Heathwood Hall made an official to Florida State over the weekend. He has North Carolina, Penn State, Tennessee coming up. Offensive guard Gavin Blanchard of Tampa, who visited Clemson for the Notre Dame game last season and for a junior day in January, but was not offered by the Tigers, committed to UCF. 2026 offensive tackle Desmond Green of Timberland. Camp stops Clemson June 4th and USC June 17th. Among his travels in June, other camp stops will be Auburn, Alabama, LSU, Georgia, North Carolina, NC State, and Tennessee. And we got a few more notes that we will get to for you after this break on Sports Talk. We'll be right back.
Don't you cry no more.
All right, just a couple of more recruiting notes, and then to Coach Jim Toman. Another offer from Clemson that went out on June 1st when the Tigers offered a bunch of 2026 guys. Jordan Carter, a defensive end from Douglasville, Georgia, 6'4", 235. So put him on the list of players offered by Clemson. Couple of other notes. 2026 quarterback Brody McWhorter has Clemson down for a camp tomorrow. He'll follow that stop with camps at North Carolina, Auburn, Alabama, Georgia, and Ohio State. Blythewood defensive tackle Sterling Sanders plans to camp at USC June 14th. He's also got NC State, Florida, Georgia Tech, Virginia, North Carolina, Alabama coming up. 2026 receiver Jordan Gidron of Ridgeview was at Auburn Saturday. Former Gamecock defensive end Terrell Dawkins is transferring to North Texas. Wide receiver Shamar Foles of Miami committed to Coastal Carolina. And former Tennessee corner Christian Conyer transferring to Coastal Carolina. Women's basketball note, USC in the top 10 with 2026 6'3" Olivia Edwards of Tacoma, Washington, with North Carolina, Florida State, Tennessee, Washington, Florida, Duke, LSU, Southern Cal, and Notre Dame. There you go. That, my friends, recruiting on this Monday night.